Hello, Gavin here, aka the Batman from Superheroes of Sale. 3 memories I'd want to share with you. The first one was way back in April when we had our first group assemble. 5 strangers running with me, now 5 good lifelong friends. We came out to the award-winning Estelle Lodge to be greeted by the great people of Sale lining the streets. It was phenomenal, mind-blowing. The second, and I'm sure all the supers have said this, has got to be the barge trip arranged by Glenn from Grip Adventures. We came out from under the bridge in Sale, and the amount of people who were out just to see people in fancy dress stood on a barge, phenomenal. And then I've got to say, the third one was just last weekend, getting to row in front of Santa's barge. What a privilege to be asked by Glenn of Grip Adventures again to do this. Phenomenal, mind-blowing how many people were out and enjoying themselves. They're the Bats memories. Nice to meet you.
At the Superheroes of Sale. So difficult to pick just a couple of favourite memories because there's been lots of great highlights, as you can probably imagine. But I joined the group back in April, and I probably said that first run that I ever did was one of my favourite experiences. Reason being, it took a lot of courage, I think, to go out dressed in a costume, and there was a lot of worry about what people would think, whether they think I look ridiculous. And just like the response I got from the general public and from my friends that had arranged to go and visit on that first trip out. Gordy came and met me for the first kilometre just to kind of, I think, calm my nerves down. So that was a great memory, and you know, I got kind of like the buzz for it from there, and you know, and carried on. I think sort of second great memory would be when we did the barge down the canal. We were stood on the top from, I think we set off from Timperley Bridge, that's right, to Sale. And I think the reception when we got into Sale of everybody around the bridge, you know, waiting for us and cheering us and waving, like, I just, you know, it just blew me away, thinking they'd come to see us, you know, just amazing experience all round. Other personal highlights for me is when I ever sort of see a little Wonder Woman. You know, I tend to try and make a big fuss of them, do some sort of twirl competitions with them, make them smile, compare outfits, that sort of thing. So they're always a great highlight for me, because you know how much it means to them to sort of see a bigger version of their costume. I also think I've had a couple of times where somebody's got talking to me just in my sort of normal civvies as such, and then realised that I'm Wonder Woman and has recalled seeing me and talking to me when I've been out and about, which is great. Or when I was actually walking out of the shop and there was a little boy and his dad there, and I'd just been on a birthday visit, so I had my costume on, and I went over to say hello and I made a fuss of the little lad. And the next day we got a lovely comment on the Superheroes page, which just shows like the power of just little things can make a big difference to people. So yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to be involved.
Actually, my wife Samantha, so at the start of lockdown she said, why don't you go out in your fancy dress, you know, and cheer up some children. So I went out as a few different characters. So I went out as a giraffe, I've got an Elvis costume, and I've got a Jerry Halliwell dress. And then I went out as Mr. Incredible, and lots of people seemed to like Mr. Incredible, and I started posting my roots up on Facebook, and loads of people just came out to see me and say hello. It was really nice. So Mr. Incredible was the most popular one, and I stuck with that. When I was a kid, actually, I got into the cross-country team once, and so I was selected for this race in the local village. And I remember saying to my mum, I haven't got any running trainers because I've never run, so can you buy me some trainers? And she bought me some plimsolls from Woolworths at the time, and I think they were bright white ones, and they were £2 or something like that, so really, really cheap ones. And right at the start of the race, there was this big swamp, and both my plimp soles just fell off in the swamp. And I was searching around for them for about 15 minutes until I found them. When I found them, I ran on, and there was no one around because they'd all run off already. And I turned where I thought the route was going, and I came out of these bushes right near the finish line. So I ran to the finish line, and I came fourth in the end. But my teacher spotted me and he said, "You didn't run the route, did you?" So I got disqualified, and then I was never selected for the team again. So yeah, mixed experience with running. So I've done. I did an ultra marathon last year where I did 65 miles in 24 hours. And earlier this year I ran 37 miles as part of a charity event for work.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Melody. Happy birthday to you. Hip it, hooray! Hip it, hooray! Hip it, hooray!
Oh, be with you.
I'm Andrew. I run with the Superheroes of Sale. I've run at Thor, at Kylo Ren during the Halloween period, and my festive running is done dressed as the naughty elf on the shelf. We've had some good memories from these runs, especially being the barge cruise we did during the summer, where all the superheroes got together and travelled down the canal on the barge. That was an amazing experience. The amount of people that were out there cheering and coming to see us, it really made you think of the positive influence you've had over the past few months, and just the bit of happiness you've brought to people in these strange times. A more personal run was, I did enjoy my first dress run. A bit nervous before doing it. Quite an introverted person, it's not the sort of thing I would normally do. But just when you first head out and you see just the first few kids and adults even, with a big smile on the face as you come running past, all the people wanting to have selfies and pictures, it made you feel, it made it worthwhile. You would see the happiness some people get out of just doing a simple thing like running around dressed in a costume. So I think overall it's been a positive experience, even for me, getting out running around. It's helped me get through this period as much as I hope we've helped other people get through this period as well.
You've asked for a few stories of things that have happened to me on our travels on the way around. If I start off way back in the start of lockdown, when there were no cars around and people were told to stay indoors, the early days of going out running, if you remember, it was hot and people were a bit worried about stuff. I remember almost causing about 4 crashes on the first 4 days, literally by running along. I didn't have a shield at this point, I was just running with my costume on, and people would just stop the car in the middle of the road to take a picture of me doing various things, just running past and waving and doing whatever. And I remember the amount of people who almost ran into the back of other people, so there are obviously still people out, delivery drivers and various bits and pieces out and about. So I remember just almost causing some crashes, and I thought, how would they explain that on an insurance form. Do you know that? I stopped to take a picture of Captain America and somebody ran into the back of me. So I remember that quite vividly. It was quite a bizarre time. Secondly, we'd finished, we were part way through a run and we got to Worthington Park in Sale. This is sort of mid-lockdown. And I was with Batman and I was with Charlotte, who I think was probably Batgirl at that time. And we were walking through part of Worthington Park, and there was a lady sat on the bench with a beautiful Dalmatian dog, like out of the 101 Dalmatians, but a full-size Dalmatian dog. I've got a bit of a thing for dogs because I've got a dog at home, so I stopped to chat to this lady, asked her if her dog was friendly. Yes, the dog was friendly, patted the dog on the head, gave him a little bit of a fuss. And as I went to walk away, I heard this sort of kerfuffle behind me where she was sat on the bench. And when I'd looked round, the dog had decided he wanted to follow me home, had basically shot off from the bench and had pulled this lady off the bench flat on her face. So again, if we'd have had an insurance claim, I'm not sure how that would have gone. My last memory really is we did a superhero assemble. We were running around and we'd got down into Altrincham. It was boiling. It was a really hot day. It was one of those ones where Gordy keeps saying, can we just nip down here because I know somebody? Can we just nip down here so we know somebody? So we'd added about an extra 5 miles onto the run that we were already doing anyway in the heat. And I remember suddenly we were chatting and we realised that we'd lost Batman. We turned round, 1 minute he was there, the next minute he wasn't there, and we sent out a superhero search party for him, couldn't find him anywhere, and as we were walking around and looking for him, we noticed there was some building work going on in a house with a skip and on the driveway, and next to the skip there was a portaloo, and who comes out of the portaloo but Batman. It had taken him about 45 minutes to get out of his costume because he was desperate to go to the loo. He dived in this little portaloo, he tried to put his costume back on again. Could we find him? He didn't let us know where he was, we just couldn't find him as we were wandering around. So we're a bit worried about him, but then it turned out okay in the end. Alrighty, we're off for Christmas, we're off down to the barge, we're going to do a bit of kayaking, so have a lovely day.